Welcome to Palantir's inaugural product session. We're so excited to have you here today. I'm Shyam Sankar, Palantir's Chief Operating Officer. We're looking forward to sharing more with you today on our latest capabilities, how we're thinking about the roadmap in 2021 and beyond across our product portfolio, and sharing examples of how customers are using this to great effect. But perhaps most exciting for me personally is that you're going to be able to hear this directly from the product leaders within our business. You know, the bench of talent at Palantir is just so incredibly deep. And I'm looking forward to creating more venues for you to engage with these folks over the next few quarters. So we're joined by an absolute rock star team from across the business, engineering, and product today. But I wanted to take a quick moment to introduce two people in particular who have been leading product development efforts across Foundry and Gotham, respectively. First, Bianca. Bianca's joined Palantir about 7 years ago. She cut her teeth as a forward deployed engineer, really leading some of our largest accounts in new areas for us, including the Airbus account from its inception, where she pioneered operational workflows with operational users at a time yet that we really hadn't penetrated the factory floor. And so really linking up, thinking about how do you link up data science, data engineering, and most importantly, the folks on the front line who make decisions every single day. And she runs the parts of Foundry in the product portfolio that is everything north of ontology, as we say. So digital twins, scenarios, model binding, operational machine learning, low code, no code application development, and deep integration with operational systems. Many of these features really met their moment in the context of the COVID crisis and helping corporations and governments respond. And also I'd like to introduce Martin, who is a principal product manager on Gotham, where he's driving Gotham and its deep roadmap. He joined Palantir 5 years ago as a forward deployed engineer and cut his teeth helping organizations fight financial crime, criminal tax issues, along with money laundering. And he led the development and user engagement for Gaia, which is Gotham's premier operational suite. Users all over the world depend on Gaia to execute and plan their missions. So I thought I'd start by unpacking many of the concepts that I've mentioned over the last few quarters and help those concepts kind of complement the demo and the discussion that will follow here. The core thing that I'm really excited about is that after years and years of investing maniacally in helping our customers generate alpha, we are at the point now where you can really see how upgrading the product, upgrading Foundry, upgrading Gotham, upgrades the customer's business. You know, upgrading Gotham upgrades your weapon system. Upgrading Foundry upgrades your company. It does this by connecting your company. It does this by delivering this crucial leverage to connect strategy and operations immediately. And I think this is just profoundly powerful. And it's a result of over 15 years of hard work and focus on alpha generation. You know, we didn't just stop at beta. We're not just making you more efficient. We're actually making you more competitive. And with every update and every release of the software, we're making you more and more competitive. So before we start the demos here, it's always good to start from first principles to remind ourselves of how we think about our products and what we're trying to accomplish. And so we think of our platforms as operating systems for the modern enterprise. And that word operating is so important to us. You know, we are not just a data platform. We're not analytics. We're trying to make our customers better, not just smarter. Analytics give you insights. How do you turn these insights into decisions? How do you turn those decisions into alpha? And that alpha is really captured on the front lines. It's captured in the factory floor. It's captured in the assembly lines. It's captured on the battlefield. We accomplish this by building and enabling connected organizations, connected companies, connected departments, connected institutions. We think of an enterprise as the sum of all decisions that the enterprise makes. And these decisions, they're interdependent in really complicated and ever-evolving ways. But rarely do companies model themselves that way, or rarely do they operate against a structure like that. So our software, it functions in a way that provides the integration between all these various silos of decision-making. And that allows you to turn shocks into opportunities and to turn opportunities into alpha. The end result of this is whereas most software makes you more similar to your competitors, we make you more different. We make you more differentiated. And you can see that. You can see that in how our software-defined data integration really automates away the beta and enables you to start wielding your ontology for alpha generation in a matter of a few hours. You can see that in how the digital twin enables you to simulate and manage unexpected shocks to your supply chain. So one of the biggest investment areas for us over the last few quarters is in modularity for both Gotham and Foundry. And to understand why this is such a big deal, we have to back up a little bit and remind ourselves of our history and our approach. So you'll recall that we have developed an end-to-end offering. We have an opinion of how to solve every problem north of compute. It's pretty expansive. And we've earned these opinions in the field. We have taken responsibility for solving problems in an end-to-end way. And that has helped us understand where the kind of conventional understanding, the reference architecture, is either wrong or just broken. And we've encoded this knowledge into our platform. And over the years, this has resulted in an ever differentiated, powerful end-to-end offering. And that offering really met its moment in times of crisis, including in COVID, where we were able to start over 80 new engagements in the first 3 weeks because we had this solution that you could deploy in a couple of days to solve incredibly complicated problems. But it's not just a couple of days. Of course, it's 15 years of intensive R&D and a couple of days. 15 years of earning and encoding that opinion. And so we were, and I think we still are, the only solution that can solve a problem in a crisis when time really, really matters. But historically, this has meant for our customers that they had to take our entire end-to-end platform, even if they have bits of internal investments that they really like or bespoke development that's crucial to implement and leverage in the context of their business. And so our investment in modularity here really enables the customer to have the best of both worlds. The customer gets to take what they want from Foundry or Gotham, and they get to build on what they already have. And this best of both worlds, I think, is really important. It gives the customers the flexibility to leverage the components of Foundry that make sense to them, but it also gives them the benefits of the speed and uniqueness of our offering that we're so well known for and highly differentiated against. And from our perspective, this also opens up entirely new possibilities for us in terms of how we go to market. This modularity means that we have a better fit with channel partners and a better ability to distribute our product to meet our customers' needs.
Today, we're excited to share some highlights of our product as part of our Foundry 21 launch. We will take you through a modular and interoperable suite of products that enable organizations to transform their business by breaking out of inflexible software and disconnected functions. First, we'll present the Foundry Ontology and Simulation Engine. These technologies enable our customers to build and operate connected companies that can make the best decisions possible based on a deep understanding of their business, built on a foundation of data and models. Second, we'll share how our software radically accelerates critical business outcomes for our customers. With software-defined data integration and our use case catalog, you can achieve what used to take months or years, now in a matter of hours. Let's start with a simple question. What is Foundry? Foundry is a first-class data integration and management platform, a comprehensive suite of analytical tools, and an operational platform of applications for business users. But at its core, we believe Foundry is the central decision support infrastructure for any organization. We've built a software framework that translates data and models into knowledge that human operators can use to make better decisions. The Foundry Ontology and Simulation Engine we are demoing today represent this connective tissue between assets in the digital world and actual decisions in the real world. Let's look at what this means for a large supply chain. As we built Foundry, we quickly learned that the amount of data in any organization is constantly increasing, creating a massive amount of entropy. For example, in a single supply chain project like the one you see in front of you, you might need to ingest thousands of tables from a single ERP system alone. And in data from other systems like operations, customer demand, and finance, and you quickly realize that it's extremely difficult to understand or discover anything from the data, even with all of it in one place. This is why companies spend years on data projects without any clear business outcomes. we determined pretty quickly that we needed to take a different approach. Palantir Foundry's ontology and simulation engine technology is our unique solution to this challenge. It preserves granular data governance and security while mapping all data into a shared, easily understood framework specific to the organization. This ontology, the representation or the digital twin of an organization, provides a common interface for all downstream workflows, from search and analysis to operational applications like supply chain optimization. It is also a two-way interface between an organization's digital assets and its real-world operations, allowing teams to feed their unique insights back into a common understanding of the business. Let's take a manufacturing plant as a first example. To create a 360-degree view of the plant, we are joining massive amounts of data, like sensor data from plant operations, or logistics data from distribution centers, or financial data from ERP systems to create the plant object. As we continue to integrate data to support more and more use cases, our ontology continues to grow. We also link the plant to key entities like distribution centers, customers, and raw materials, which are backed by even more data sources. The result of this data integration and mapping work is immediate transparency into the business objects, that plant, for business users across the organization. As a supply chain manager, a logistics officer, or a plant operations manager, I can see all the data that has been integrated to develop that plant object. And for any single plant, I can quickly see the most relevant KPIs to understand customers and distribution centers by city, as well as any demand alerts and the demand in production over time. Importantly, this ontology is dynamic and it changes over time, expanding as digital transformation starts to include more parts of an organization, and changing as the organizations themselves evolve. Traditional ERP systems and inflexible data models cannot handle these inevitable changes. This ontology goes beyond integrated 360-degree views. It's the foundation for all decision-making through search, analysis, reporting, and applications. This approach is transformative for several reasons. Instead of reinventing data foundations for every new project, you now have a compounding framework for new data to automatically flow into business applications. This radically decreases the time to build new workflows and provides a built-in shared language for collaboration across functions. What's most exciting is that this framework is bi-directional. All user insights and decisions are recorded in the ontology, where they become immediately available as data for others to build on. This enables unparalleled cross-functional collaboration. For example, imagine a supply chain analyst discovers excess inventory of a particular raw material that will expire in a few months. They can flag this as an opportunity, notify a customer account manager, and from there identify potential sales opportunities for those finished goods. Let's dive into how an operational application can be created using the ontology. This is the supply chain control tower. A supply chain analyst uses this app to get an overview of their network and high-level KPIs, and then drill down into specific areas of concern. The data shown here is coming from disparate global sources that previously required users to use several pieces of disconnected software. The map here shows customers, distribution centers, and plants. Let's quickly jump into edit mode to show how the ontology makes this type of complex application easy to build and maintain with no code. So now let's say I want to quickly see a more detailed view of the customer. It's not hard to do. First, I can quickly add all the information I have about customers. From the map, I want to add a widget to the left to display properties for all customers. We can search for the customer object from the ontology and add all the properties. Next, I can add information in an additional widget below about linked distribution centers. Instead of a property, we're going to add an object list. And this requires all of that mapping between objects in the ontology we've already created. So in under a minute, I've added information to this view from dozens of data sources to enrich my decision-making ability. Importantly, these applications lead directly to real actions and form complex, multi-step, cross-functional business processes. For example, when a supply chain analyst identifies a demand gap, excess inventory, or other issues, they can immediately take corrective action, such as partially fulfilling an order or reallocating some of that stock. From there, a colleague in the distribution center can immediately see this new information and act on it. On the surface, this looks relatively simple, but under the hood, actions are a powerful building block. Every action represents a decision made by a user and is written back into the shared ontology. For example, a fulfill order action will subtract items from an inventory object, add those items to the order, and change the order status from open to filled. Actions can also have complex validations and security conditions, making them a powerful building block for multi-step business processes. This doesn't even require every user to be in Foundry. Actions taken in Foundry applications can write directly back to legacy systems, they can interact with business systems like email, or even talk to machine control systems, allowing applications to seamlessly integrate into existing operations. This same layer powers not only operational applications, but also advanced search capabilities and powerful analytical and reporting tools. So far, we focused a lot on data, and how data is mapped into the ontology to generate a dynamic model of the organization that powers decision-making downstream. In order to make even better decisions, your team needs more than just data. Oftentimes, operators rely on models to help them understand the potential impacts of decisions before they make them. These models can be as complex as deep learning and artificial intelligence, or as simple as logic, like adherence to standards often used by executives. Once again, Foundry's ontology is the connective tissue. By mapping models to that ontology, we create a system-wide simulation engine that powers what-if analyses that were previously impossible. Users at every level of the organization, from strategic to operational, can understand the potential outcomes and side effects of a decision before they execute on that decision. What this creates is an extremely powerful infrastructure that enables organizations to treat their operations like code. Changes can be staged and tested before they are applied. For example, in our supply chain control tower, production and pricing models leverage data from raw materials and plant capacity. It puts out production volume and customer demand estimates based on price changes. This type of model is often used by a supply chain manager to decide how much of a given refined product to make from a bath of raw materials. We can then chain a model like this with a seasonal demand model to dynamically optimize the product catalog and increase revenue. It is notoriously difficult to understand cause and effect in a supply chain. When automation fails due to disruptions or simply because status quo has changed, companies have a very difficult time adapting. As a result, delayed orders or lost opportunities like excess inventory are commonplace. In Foundry, all models, regardless of the environment they are built in, are managed in a unified framework. For example, here we're looking at a library of all this organization's models. They are closely coupled with their ultimate business objective, like maximizing production or minimizing cost with COGS models, or balancing the inflow and outflow of inventory from a distribution center. And we can identify if they are being used in production. In the catalog, I can quickly scroll down to find seasonal demand models and production models, among others. I can see how many deployments are currently active, the overall model health, and more. More importantly, all model inputs and outputs are mapped and bound to their representation in the real world. For example, I can hover over the customer demand model and see that the objects associated with the inputs are raw material order and material, and the objects associated with the outputs are raw material order, plant, and material. By clicking this model, I can not only see the business context around the project in the form of a prediction goal that you see at the top, but also how the model's inputs and outputs are mapped to the real world. Here we can see the specific properties for the inputs are cost and price, and the outputs are demand, capacity, and inventory. I can monitor model performance, manage changes to this model over time, and manage how this model is deployed into the application layer. The most valuable aspect of this product is not managing individual models, but instead enabling the models to relate to each other through a simulation engine, powered again by the ontology. So let's take a quick look at the second model. This model contains the production recipes for converting all raw materials into finished goods. What I can see pretty quickly is that one of these model inputs, material inventory, matches the output of my previous model. That means that these models can be chained together. To see chained modeling in more detail, we can go to our simulation interface, Vertex. With the seasonal demand model and the production model, we can quickly traverse a complex value chain and ask questions like, if a supplier delivers only 50% of a raw material, what is the impact on my on-time delivery of finished goods? Which of my customers are most impacted? Because the models are chained together through real-world mapping, I can easily understand the complexities of my entire supply chain, from upstream suppliers to downstream customers, and everything in between, including the plants and the distribution center nodes. As a result, everyone can understand and anticipate the side effects of their decisions, allowing for unprecedented collaboration and universally optimal decision-making. By moving the slider, we can simulate the interactions of all of the models and the impact on the supply chain into the future. We can see some of the nodes turn red, the plants and distribution centers you see on the map, alerting us to potential problems in our supply chain, such as low inventory or an increase in unexpected demand, or anything else. Here we're looking at the detailed system view, but this simulation engine can also be deployed into any application to inform decisions at every level of the organization. So let's quickly go back to our supply chain control tower. We enriched the alert response workflow so users can run simulations of potential remediation action. In this, we have an unexpected excess of raw materials. Once I look at the overview, I can click into the Planning Response tab. So I can see the current raw material excess inventory, the expected demand, and the percent of production capacity. From there, I can evaluate potential actions. Other applications like product planning and pricing can easily be built on top of the same simulation layer, ensuring consistent assumptions and enabling collaboration across functions. The connective tissue of the platform allows efficient iteration and decision-making across any layer of an organization, from the COO to the supply chain manager, all the way to the logistics analyst creating the simulations. So far, we've really focused on how the ontology and simulation engine provides an unprecedented infrastructure for decision-making. To close this demo, we want to talk about how we are scaling this technology and making it easier for customers to leverage it through software-defined data integration and our use case catalog, making it easier for customers to leverage their data, the ontology, and the simulation engine. First, let's understand where the data exists with the customer and how we can quickly connect to those data sources. Palantir Foundry provides point-and-click connection, integration, and transformation of data. For legacy ERP systems, the product goes even further, taking raw data, joining it, and deriving new features that can be leveraged in downstream workflows. Data projects that previously took years are done in hours. So how did we accelerate the time to value for our customers? Through software-defined data integration. It unlocks business value in unprecedented time, not seen in other software. Instead of spending months and years parsing complex backend systems, our SDDI technology automatically connects the business-readable format with the backend table names and infers the relationships between data tables, including any user-defined tables. Our SDDI technology also leverages the online shopping experience, where users can add the necessary data to the cart, which can then be synced. When users are ready, they can select Sync, which automatically creates the ontology, from the data source through the transformation layer, all the way to those objects that we saw previously, the plant, the distribution center, and the customer. At the beginning of this talk, I mentioned that Foundry now ships with a catalog of comprehensive, out-of-the-box products that accelerate its time to value. We've created these using our 15 years of experience across industries and sectors, maximizing their universal utility. We achieve this automation by solving the most difficult pieces first, like complex data integrations, developing the infrastructure for chaining simulations, and developing the connective tissue through an ontology. Every client's challenges manifest themselves differently. Organizations that may look the same, banks or energy companies or transportation companies, can actually have significant divergence across use cases. We maintain our customers' uniqueness by building the framework to automate the complexity of the data integration and setup, to allow for maximum creativity and flexibility in the solution and the decision space. We don't simplify the solution so that it will scale. We automate the complexity so our solutions can accelerate. This was exceptionally relevant in 2020 during COVID. Our customers across both government and commercial needed help now, which required the ability to build applications faster than previously seen in software technologies. I'll show you how Archetypes, the use case catalog, allows clients to traverse the entire Foundry platform with no code to achieve specific outcomes and deliver business-facing workflows in hours. We can automatically build the supply chain control tower I showed you using the use case library and our installation wizard. So we can see some of the use cases on the right that have been valuable so far, and one in particular focused on supply chain. Once we deploy this use case, we can easily navigate through the installation wizard. We can first see the auto-generated object types for the specific workflows we want to deploy that ties directly to the software-defined data integration we mentioned at the very beginning. We can see the demand forecast to be deployed as a function, along with any other model or forecast. We can set the specific actions we want users to take, so the cancel an order or fulfill an order, or partially fulfill an order in our example. And lastly, we can deploy various workflows based on these inputs. So in our example, like the supply chain control tower, in just a few clicks, I can deploy the framework that we use to create the supply chain control tower. So again, we haven't simplified the solution so it will scale. We've automated the complexity so our solutions can accelerate while maintaining the flexibility our customers demand. This speed to value has been vital to our clients in the past year as the world landscape has shifted due to the pandemic and the need for digital transformation has grown exponentially. This software-defined data integration, coupled with Archetypes, is massively accelerating our customers' ability to deliver on their digital transformation. But it is also providing a robust foundation for them to extend their own offerings and build their own SaaS products. By removing the barrier of bespoke data integration, they can build net new products that scale across their own markets. As you saw today, Foundry provides a software solution for better decision-making, enabling businesses to actually turn their data and models into transformative change. This is especially clear from the business and institutional outcomes Foundry has enabled across the world. We want to share a few of those with you today. Some of our partners are using software where software really hasn't played a role previously. For example, a law firm is leveraging the technology to provide sanction screening to their clients, removing the need for manual review. In financial services, customers are extending their offerings to be much more tailored to the client's reality to create customized solutions. A bank is building new cash management capabilities that integrate directly with their client ERP systems to solve a ubiquitous challenge for treasuries. Another bank is investing in using the software to build resilient trade financing solutions that are highly responsive to dynamic supply chains. One insurance company is providing a shared foundation for risk management with primary insurers. Another insurance company is deploying an elder care operating system across Japan to address a systemic societal issue of inefficient resource allocation. In manufacturing, companies are breaking down silos to make their value chains work much more efficiently together. Automotive OEMs are deploying the software to their suppliers to enable seamless quality investigations and supply chain coordination. Performance materials manufacturers are collaborating with semiconductor manufacturers. And our channel partners that you heard about in our last investor call are using the software to build their own go-to-market motions that allow them to scale their unique expertise through software. A management consulting firm is taking a working capital reduction offering to market for industrials in Germany. That allows them for the first time to unlock their unique business understanding through software in a scalable manner. Another management consulting firm is leveraging SDDI and the Foundry ontology to accelerate their M&A activities both during the diligence phase and post-M&A during the digital transformation. Systems integrators are productizing SAP migration modules that accelerate the time and robustness of their offerings. In each of these cases, the software product pattern is the same. Provide software to automate heterogeneous data integration so that our partners can leverage their unique capabilities to build sustainable, competitive advantage for themselves.
everyone, I hope you all enjoyed John's demo. I want to talk a little bit about the future of Foundry and how we're going to increase Foundry's impact. We think about doing that in 3 ways. First, reaching more customers through our use case catalog and modular deployment options. Second, reaching more users so that Foundry can power every critical decision made in and across institutions. And this means getting Foundry into the hands of every user who needs it through things like a new mobile offering and enabling users across organizations to collaborate so that they can work together to solve hard problems that can't be solved alone, like the ongoing pandemic and climate change. And third, we're going to build on what you saw in the demo and innovate in our approach to how AI is applied to operations. We imagine a world where every decision made is informed by the best data possible, and decision makers leverage simulation to fully understand the wanted and unwanted consequences of their actions within complex connected systems. Our customers' missions don't stop during a digital transformation. As Shyam mentioned earlier, modular deployment of Foundry's capabilities allows us to deliver value faster within existing digital landscapes. And one way of doing this is Foundry's use case catalog. And what I want to emphasize with this is that it's much deeper than just some nice-looking application templates. For example, let's dig into an offering we're developing around carbon accounting and management. To reduce carbon footprint, one of the hardest problems is actually building a data foundation to understand it at the granular level. Companies have to integrate detailed data from across their global operations, raw materials, manufacturing, logistics, distribution, and transport, and overlay all of that data with a carbon equivalent calculation, and then incorporate that cost into workflows across the business. From there, they can start to actually evaluate the impact of everything from daily decisions, at what speed should this ship travel, to long-term ones, like what ships should I prioritize to replace with more fuel-efficient ones. Foundry Solutions solves this complexity, building the knowledge asset and simulation capability first, and enables customization of specific workflows and applications built on top of that. This is really just one example though, and we see a potential for a marketplace where industry leaders can encode their unique knowledge into products that accelerate innovation across their industry. As John shared earlier, we believe non-tech businesses like law firms and banks can leverage Foundry to distribute software solutions to their customers or partners. For others, modularity centers on the interoperability of Foundry with other digital platforms. For example, we are partnering to create a joint offering with a third-party infrastructure and data management tool complemented by our ontology and operational platform to drive business decision-making. In another configuration, customers use our data platform but operate third-party or custom application platforms on top of that. Over the past few years, we've seen Foundry extend from the offices of data engineers to every operational edge imaginable, from the shop floor of the final assembly line to maintenance trucks servicing global infrastructure to military bases and more. Our upcoming mobile offering enables customers to build, deploy, and manage purpose-built applications for mobile using the same point-and-click tools that they use for desktop. For example, a maintenance technician can use their phone to guide and prioritize their daily work using a triaging application powered by multiple data sources and meaningful models. From there, they can identify and investigate maintenance issues on site and use the app to quickly capture back additional data on the fly that then becomes available to their colleagues. Even more important than reaching more users is connecting those users to each other. We're seeing that customers want to collaborate at a truly unprecedented rate. Health agencies with hospitals, manufacturers with suppliers, and in Foundry, we treat this as fundamentally the same problem, whether you're working across organizations or working across functions within one. Effectively, industries are just another large siloed organization with a few additional constraints. And because of that, Foundry's approach is really unique, and it can't be compared to surface-level collaboration tools like shared folders or chat. It's more joint operation than just collaboration. And the way it works is that Foundry sets granular security controls at the data source level and provides a shared operational language, the ontology, as the parameters for engagement. And these parameters then flow seamlessly into all downstream business tools, freeing up users to focus on the problem at hand, and effectively, within the boundaries of Foundry, work as one team. Equally important, the system is dynamic because security stances are constantly changing. Shared spaces can be used for ongoing collaborations, like between suppliers and manufacturers, or they can be purpose-built, time-limited shared spaces that meet strict privacy requirements between organizations collaborating in this way for the first time. We see the potential impact of Foundry's shared spaces primarily as resiliency and adaptability to change, rather than just efficiency in the status quo. Challenges like electrification of cars or prevention of the next pandemic require rapid evolution of how organizations securely share knowledge and change together. Our customers are accumulating sensor and computer vision data, but encounter significant problems in moving the models that interpret that data from science project to live operations. Foundry's approach to AI addresses these roadblocks by tightly coupling model development with the operational problem that it aims to solve. We're not building just another code notebook or modeling library for data scientists, but rather the DevOps for all of an organization's models, providing a software framework to get from idea to ongoing impact. I won't get into the details of every step of that today, but let's look at model training and monitoring as an example. Imagine an analyst at a telecoms company builds a model to identify damaged infrastructure through satellite imagery in order to prioritize and then dispatch maintenance crews. She will find it crucial to understand whether the model performs equally well on all types of damage. Some damage requires urgent repairs, so in the business application, even slightly worse performance of the model on this subset of data would be a major concern. Foundry's intuitive point-and-click experience makes it easy to interrogate model performance on meaningful subsets of data and to view the results in an operational sandbox similar to what an end user would see downstream. And this nuance is really critical in using a model practically, but is often lost in traditional AI model development tools. Through the ontology, Foundry provides all the relevant context available to explore and anticipate how the model will perform in different situations. And importantly, this is an ongoing process. Built-in monitoring and retraining ensures the evolution of AI projects for the long haul. Another crucial part of connecting models to outcomes is Foundry's simulation engine. We introduced this in John's demo earlier. The simulation engine chains models to each other through the ontology, enabling users to ask what-if questions and understand the potential impact of their actions on the entire system. This year, we want to take that one step further by democratizing optimization. So in the supply chain example, this means instead of manually comparing a few scenarios, a supply chain manager could trivially find the precise price point that optimizes revenue without going under inventory limits. That might sound pretty simple, but a lot actually happens under the hood. Within an optimization, we evaluate thousands of scenarios, with each scenario representing a different set of possible actions. Within each scenario, a simulation chains together several models. Finally, the simulation engine returns a ranked list of scenarios, and the operator can compare them and make a final decision on which action to take. Fundamentally, though, this isn't about any specific optimization algorithm, but about how Foundry connects optimization with actual operations. We believe that by combining the software's ability to fully explore decision space with the human operator's ability to understand unmodeled constraints and information, we enable organizations to rapidly adapt to changing environments and consistently be adjusting towards optimal in every decision that they make. This can mean anything from identifying the optimal price to sell inventory, identifying wind turbines positioning to maximize electricity generation, or plotting shipping routes that will maximize revenue over the course of years. I'll now hand it over to my colleagues to show you the newest developments in Gotham, how they're applied in mission-critical situations, and where they're going next.
Hello, I'm Doug Philippone, Palantir's Global Defense Lead. Over the past 13 years, I've dedicated my life to starting and building Palantir's global defense business. Today, I'm excited to show you what's deployed and what we're building with our new Gotham 21 launch. It helps our nation's warfighters make life-saving, split-second decisions on and off the battlefield in perhaps the most complicated environments and complex set of systems in the world. To me, this is personal. I've spent years of my life fighting in America's wars, and I know full well the challenges of making split-second decisions in the heat of battle based on true and timely information. It's very difficult. With nation-state adversaries pushing on our interests around the world,
we've shifted our focus from counterterrorism to the near-peer fight. So what's changed driving the new launch? In the near-peer paradigm, we have to make decisions in nanoseconds or we're gonna lose. Real-time sensors create insane amounts of data from satellites to the sea. New cutting-edge systems aren't connected in any real way to facilitate holistic decision-making, and nothing's fast. The internet doesn't always work. Sometimes you're jammed, and sometimes you just don't have coverage, but your systems must continue to work. Constrained optimization used to be a mathematical concept, but now it's an everyday reality. Every organization around the world, especially the military, is trying to do more with less. The old paradigm involved what can you do. The new Gotham launch helps commanders quickly understand not only the choices available to them, but the second and third order costs of those choices. It's a game changer and applies to every business in the world. In many ways, this is the most important problem of our time and critical to our nation's prosperity and our way of life. At Palantir, we've got our best engineers working to take every sensor, data feed, and database out there and integrating them together to give leaders across echelons a holistic view of their world and allowing them to optimize their split-second decision-making. This is a big deal. Shortly, you'll hear from Gotham's lead product manager, designer, and implementer who will share their experience born of supporting the warfighter, forward deployed with the warfighter in conflicts all over the world. I know because I was there with them. Through a variety of challenges and learnings along the way, we've had a very real breakthrough. And we are combining the best capabilities of our platforms in a way that has an amazing synergy and a real world impact. So with that, see it for yourself.
All right, so that demo covered quite a few things in a short time. We'll want to unpack a bit what you just saw. I should also mention that while our story was obviously notional, the problem set was not. We showed a wide array of real capabilities that are deployed in the field today. So with that in mind, my colleague Andy and I want to break down for you how Gotham in 2021 is focused on building the operating system across 3 phases of the decision-making cycle: understand, decide, and act. Let's dive in. The first step in any good decision-making process is developing an understanding of the situation. What do we know? Logic would follow that having more data leads to more insights, which ultimately results in better decisions. But more data doesn't magically translate to better decision-making. Over the past decade, the US government has spent hundreds of billions of dollars on sensors, which create more data than ever before. Without a brain, though, better eyes alone cannot see. The sheer amount of data produced by these sensors has far eclipsed what a human being can process. We simply don't have enough eyes to analyze every observation, every frame. Gotham provides the brain for these sensors, fusing data and augmenting it in order to produce clear, actionable views of the world. And the Gotham brain isn't just focused on what our adversaries are doing. By connecting directly with organizational logistics and personnel data, Gotham provides an understanding of both sides of the battlefield, a digital chessboard that maps the entire battle space.
So what does this look like in practice? Let's take a look at one of the early vignettes from our demo. If you watch enough spy thrillers, you get the impression that this type of interface is common in the defense and intelligence world. However, the reality is that many soldiers, Marines, airmen, and sailors are forced to use a series of disjointed, dated systems that merely feed PowerPoint slides. This single pane of glass is actually distilling an extremely complex problem. We're looking at data sets that would normally never make it onto the same screen, let alone the same system. But getting data into one place is only part of the challenge. Surfacing the right data to the right user at the right time is an art in of itself, and it's a place that AI can play an important role. For example, here you can see one of our interfaces, which is deployed to commanders today. On the screen, you can see the details of an intelligence dossier. However, the screen also shows data such as human intelligence, signals intelligence, equipment statuses, and more. From logistics and personnel to intelligence, Gotham provides unified views just like this to users across organizations and locations. These views are the bedrock for developing an understanding of what's happening in the world.
Once you understand the situation at hand, you have to decide what you want to do about it. Gotham allows decision makers to spend less time setting up the digital chessboard and more time analyzing and planning the right moves to win. Every military operation is ultimately comprised of a series of decisions. The quality and timeliness of these decisions can often have massive real-world implications. Decision makers at every echelon can use Gotham as a digital playbook to explore different options, evaluate trade-offs, and model scenarios. Now, it's important to note that these decisions don't happen in a vacuum. This isn't single-player chess. Your decisions are only as good as your ability to adapt to an ever-changing environment. Gotham allows globally dispersed users to develop and evolve decision models together in real time against an adaptive adversary. Lastly, these decisions are being modeled and captured as a new type of data itself. We can use that data to train and improve AI models, which can ultimately help the enterprise make better decisions over time.
Traditionally, most operational decisions are made via phone call or email. This critical data is lost in the ether. Gotham provides an interface to analyze and make data-backed decisions that contribute to the institutional knowledge and enable our forces to make better, faster decisions. Let's look at an example. In this course of action, we can see the proposed sequence of sub-actions, such as tasking an asset, deploying a unit, and disabling the anti-aircraft system. For each task, there's a breakdown of how long each action will take, as well as the resourcing needs and availability. It's critical that this picture is real-time and adaptive. Users must be able to trust that their decisions reflect the most recent accurate understanding of the world. In this example, an Intel alert has tangibly changed the parameters of our decision. These changes are highlighted in the interface.
Finally, it's time to act. We've made our decision and now we have to do something about it. This will often take a constellation of people and machines to carry out. In order to most effectively navigate this transition from decision to action, Gotham is deployed at the edge, on vehicles, aircraft, and ships across the world. To run on these hardware systems, which, just to give you a sense, can range in size from massive naval vessels to these onboard aircraft sensors that are roughly the size of a baseball, Gotham is a modular platform through and through. Once installed, these Gotham nodes synchronize to form a distributed mesh that is resilient to network failures, rerouting and adapting as systems come on and offline. Running at the edge allows Gotham to continuously analyze sensor data as it's collected, reducing the time to insight from hours to seconds. And as decisions are made, Gotham nodes in the field can communicate digitally with a wide array of military control systems to rapidly coordinate and adjust plans. By sharing data from node to node and from edge to cloud, Gotham provides the entire force with a data fabric that is synchronized in real time. This ultimately enables the enterprise to stay one step ahead of our adversaries.
From a user's perspective, this means all of the capabilities we've talked about are not constrained to desktop computers and air-conditioned operation centers. Users can access these features on the edge, on ruggedized laptops and onboard displays, extending their ability to understand and decide into the battlefield. Here we can see several real-time streaming sensors broadcasting data to a forward-deployed laptop. In this case, these data feeds are augmented by AI models, which are running in real time on edge hardware. Each of these dots you see on the map is the output of one of those models. We can also see the real-time locations of our own troops, providing critical situational awareness that is necessary to react quickly if the safety of the team is threatened. By breaking down these silos, every individual can play a role in the success of the mission.
Gotham is an expansive platform. What started as an intelligence tool has grown into an operating system for all phases of the decision-making cycle. Understand, decide, and act. We've come a long way over the past decade, but our core philosophy has remained consistent. None of this matters without our users. At Palantir, we build Iron Man suits, not robots. Our goal is to protect and augment our warfighters, not to replace them.
At Palantir, we're committed to supporting the world's most important institutions and helping them solve their most important problems with our software platforms. These problems exist in the real world, so not only do problem spaces come in all shapes and sizes, but so do our customers' operating environments. Our customers today use Foundry and Gotham from a diverse set of environments: corporate campuses, industrial work sites, laboratories, factories, and home offices.
But our software must also run in remote on-premises data centers, active combat zones, and classified networks, from submarines to airplanes, even to drones. So while the vast majority of our customers are able to take advantage of our public cloud SaaS, these real-world constraints mean that many of our customers are unable to do so.
Apollo is the silent third platform that sits behind both Foundry and Gotham. It is what allows us to meet our customers where they are, to power their missions and solve their most important problems, no matter where on the world these are.
Apollo manages the end-to-end set of software platform considerations, from our developers' keyboards all the way to our customers at the front line. At the core of Apollo is an end-to-end, highly extensible framework for continuous delivery in all environments. It provides an autonomous control plane for the continuous delivery of standard new product features, security updates, and platform configurations.
But Apollo is also designed to meet the complex realities of our customers. It understands the granular state of Foundry and Gotham worldwide, and it's responsible for ensuring that the whole fleet is healthy and up to date. And it does so while working within the confines of each customer's unique requirements. It takes a sophisticated approach to rolling out new releases, including blue-green upgrades with composite success criteria, and a fully autonomous approach to rollbacks in cases where health criteria aren't met. The platform's observability framework works hand in hand with continuous delivery, leveraging both synchronous and asynchronous telemetry to monitor the complete lifecycle of every single piece of software.
As you'll hear about shortly, Apollo's reach extends far beyond traditional SaaS architecture. From the autonomous management of edge devices, including those within heterogeneous and shifting network topologies, to capabilities further up the stack, including the complete lifecycle management of machine learning models.
To date, Apollo has been key to increasing velocity of both new and our existing SaaS business. This year, we saw more customer onboardings than ever before, with many fueled by real urgency around COVID-19 and other critical problems facing both public and private institutions alike. Apollo enables us to onboard these new customers to our SaaS in a matter of hours.
But not only can we service new customers more easily, but with Apollo, our developers can roll out features to the entire existing fleet automatically. Apollo is the beating heart of our platforms, working around the clock to continuously deliver software to our customers.
It's not only automated, but intelligent, enabling our developers to not only push changes, but to push them with confidence, shipping new features faster without compromising on stability. Through the use of release channels, soak times, blue-green deploys, and maintenance windows, we ensure that our highly available system stays highly available.
While we've been in the cloud since 2013, it's only in the past couple of years that we've seen massive adoption of our SaaS platform. Where large conservative institutions once viewed SaaS and the cloud more generally with a healthy amount of skepticism, we've since seen a shift in viewpoint. By successfully demonstrating its value to our customers, these organizations have come to embrace our SaaS platform. In 2020, nearly all of our customers opted for our cloud-based SaaS. This includes industries that are very highly regulated, from financial institutions to utility companies to governments across the globe. SaaS also powers our COVID-19 response work, supporting over 100 private companies and 10 governments, including the US and the UK. Our SaaS is also used heavily by the military, both in the US and abroad.
With Apollo, our SaaS is able to meet our customers' most stringent requirements. Our natively multi-homed architecture provides fault-tolerant, resilient platforms that are replicated across distinct physical sites. And our global footprint ensures that we meet our customers' evolving data residency requirements. We offer a wide array of connectivity options for customers with private connections, custom access points, and other non-standard networks. And it's backed by our auto-scaling infrastructure that adapts to spiky workloads, handling large data volumes seamlessly, eliminating the tedious and often error-prone burden of capacity planning. Taken together, all these options have allowed us to bring some of our most conservative customers to use SaaS in the cloud for the very first time.
Apollo's flexibility enables our SaaS platform to support the requirements of the world's most risk-averse and most mission-critical systems today. You can see some examples here listed of these systems. Suffice it to say, they need the latest technology, and they also need it without risk of downtime. Apollo is able to deliver. Our SaaS is authorized to be used for mission-critical national security systems by the US Department of Defense. This authorization is the most stringent for unclassified data, and you can count the number of other SaaS systems who have this accreditation on one hand. We are committed to continuing to support the world's most important institutions by ensuring that SaaS-like efficiency, coupled with reliable stability and top-notch security, are our top priorities.
We built Apollo to be infrastructure agnostic, liberating our customers from cloud vendor lock-in. Apollo powers critical workloads and spans multiple cloud providers today. And with Apollo, we are taking our SaaS beyond the usual hyperscale providers like AWS and Azure, and we will thrive in a world of future cloud vendor balkanization. For example, we're day one members of the Gaia X initiative, the recently announced project to build a common data infrastructure for Europe. And we also know that the landscape changes rapidly, so we're taking this a step further. The large organizations we work with aren't homogeneous internally. They know the future is multi-cloud. So we are actively investing in the ability of our customers to dynamically shift workloads between infrastructure providers on demand. And we're working towards a complete BYO ecosystem that will empower our customers to bring their own storage and compute wherever it may live, natively to our platforms.
Apollo enables not just multi-cloud, but multi-classification SaaS as well. Running software on classified networks today has its own set of unique challenges. Lack of outside connectivity, additional security and compliance constraints, and the need to transfer data between networks physically using DVDs, to name a few.
Apollo's flexibility means that it works across all classification levels. Apollo is running today in unclassified, secret, and top secret environments, powering the same SaaS platforms that you see in the public cloud. Apollo enables us to improve the speed and delivery of software binaries, bringing the latest features to classified environments nearly as fast as they make it to the public cloud. It also powers crucial cross-domain workflows, automatically synchronizing critical data assets across these very same networks.
We are defining what it means to be a SaaS in the classified space. We're moving from a world of slow and minimal upgrades with static software that quickly gets out of date to a world where the benefits of SaaS can be realized in the classified world as well. We will solidify this position by becoming the first SaaS authorized for the U.S. Department of Defense Impact Level 6, enabling us to scale even more quickly across secret networks.
Apollo also takes our platforms to places where no SaaS has gone before, to challenging physical conditions, war zones, remote deserts, across oceans, to places with delayed, disconnected, intermittent, or low bandwidth environments, places where network cables do not exist, to mobile and ruggedized places, Humvees, subs, downrange data centers. These are all places where customers historically have only had access to legacy, static, custom-built systems. But we've changed the game by bringing the same powerful software available in industry to these challenging environments, providing them with our platforms that are always cutting edge and always up to date.
And with Apollo, we've done this while maintaining SaaS-like margins. For our customers, Apollo unlocks unprecedented scalability because it works for even the most complex network topology. Combined with technologies like Nexus peering, Apollo powers a global mesh network for the U.S. Department of Defense, running fixed, tactical, and mobile forward deployed nodes of all shapes and sizes. And with Apollo, we can do this with an extremely small headcount. Projects that would have previously been infeasible due to complex custom work, projects that took so long to build that they were nearly obsolete by the time they were completed, are now within reach, all because of Apollo.
Apollo is also revolutionizing how we think about the dynamic capabilities of these nodes and the edge. When most people talk about the edge today, they only talk about the edge as a static set of environments with fixed sites, fixed topologies, limited form factors, and limited specialized compute capabilities. Apollo turns the edge operational by enabling us to adapt to the inevitable changes in the physical environment. It handles changes in connectivity, changes in scale, loss of nodes, or repartitioning of networks. It adapts seamlessly, allowing us to bring SaaS to the edge across a variety of form factors, from autonomous vehicles to ruggedized mobile data centers.
But Apollo is more than just infrastructure management. As we've mentioned, it's about management of all parts of the platform, from our developers' keyboards all the way to our customers on the front line. Apollo powers software-defined data integrations, delivering an always updated, out-of-the-box suite of tools for interacting with data sources of all types.
And within our platforms, Apollo also powers an expanding set of workflows, from model management, simplifying the release and testing of AI or machine learning models, to anomaly detection, updating algorithms and workflows for high-scale sensor data. And it powers these workflows for an expanding set of developers, supporting applications on our platforms built by customers and also third-party partners. Apollo has revolutionized Palantir's operations. And while we initially built this for ourselves to power our own platforms, our customers have recently started to ask if they can use Apollo for theirs. This is something that we've started to explore.
Apollo has allowed us to dramatically expand our market footprint. Our existing SaaS has become more efficient, and Apollo has enabled us to go after new markets and customers who historically haven't ever been able to use a SaaS product. We're able to meet our customers where they are and continue to deliver software at a higher bar than has ever before been possible. We're looking forward to pushing these capabilities even further, improving Apollo to further service hard-to-reach environments and workflows, and truly taking Apollo to the next level.
Apollo means we can solve the world's hardest problems and do it in a way that is scalable and sustainable, on a timeline and budget that no one else can. Sham, back over to you.
All right. As you can all see, we are just at the beginning. To wrap up, I'd summarize that you're seeing us invest deeply in unique capabilities that continuously differentiate our offering by investing in capabilities that differentiate our customers. Low-code operational apps and digital twins, and AI-enabled mission command. You're seeing us invest in speed. Software-defined data integration archetypes are dramatically speeding up the time to value. You're seeing us invest in Apollo, our delivery infrastructure, and in modules to meet our customers where they are, to integrate with their existing investments, to enable channels to sell our platforms, and to deliver a modern SaaS-like experience where really no SaaS has gone before. We have built so much over the last 15 years, and we are continuing to accelerate the pace of progress and the depth of these capabilities. And as Alex has said, we build products the world needs, that our customers need, even if it isn't completely obvious how much they need them just yet. The foundational investments that we made a decade ago enabled us to be prepared for COVID and to meaningfully help over 100 commercial institutions across 35 countries, and as well as 10 national level governments in responding to this crisis. And similarly, the investments that we are making today, the roadmap we are executing on, will be there, ready to meet the moment, ready to meet what may come. Thank you all so much for joining us.